What if MS isn't the body failing, but a body that's trying to communicate? What if the missing piece in MS isn't another treatment? What if it's understanding how your nervous system actually works? Today, I want to talk to you about the one thing no one explains when you get an MS diagnosis. This definitely was the experience that I had in the past, and that's the unconscious mind. I was diagnosed. Hi, my name is Kate McDowell from Align Natural Health, and I was diagnosed with MS 20 years ago in 2005. I was 22 years old at the time, had no idea what those two letters even meant, and really didn't feel like I was given an understanding by the doctors that I was dealing with. And so, as you listen to this today, I'm going to share a bit of my experience, a bit of what I've seen with clients as well, and hopefully some insightful things that you can take a look at if you're going through some sort of health challenge or some situation in your life where it just feels like things aren't adding up. And so as you listen, notice if something softens in your body. That's not random. That's your nervous system responding and communicating to you. And the question that I want you to sit with today during this conversation is what if my body isn't broken? I remember going through years of thinking that was the case, thinking I just needed to fight harder and I just needed to push against this illness that I was handed when the doctor walked in and first had that conversation with me, which over time I started to realize the moment that that doctor said to me, "I'm diagnosing you with MS," he didn't hand me the condition at the time. He handed me some understanding and awareness of what was going on in my body. And how I chose to respond to that moving forward was what was gonna make all the difference. And it did take me several years after being diagnosed till I got to the point where I realized I need to take a look at me. I need to take a look at my beliefs, at the things that I'm doing, at how am I contributing to the way my body is responding right now. And this is not at all about blame in any way, shape, or form. It's not about blaming anything outside of yourself. It's not about blaming self either, but about understanding that when you start to respond and notice what's going on in your body, you have a lot more personal power than you've been led to believe. I was inspired to do this live because I had a conversation with a colleague, a fellow NLP practitioner, I think it was on the weekend, and she had mentioned, "Have you seen Tony Robbins' I'm Not Your Guru?" I think the documentary is called. And so I looked it up, and my spouse and I watched this movie. I thought it was great. I like how empowering he is in helping people realize where they're getting in their own way and how they're keeping themselves stuck. And that was definitely, if I reflect on my life, there's times where I held myself back and kept myself stuck as well. And we often do this. And so, anyways, throughout that, the Tony Robbins, the conversation, he started talking about this book, which is something that I've read in the past as well. And the really important part that he was mentioning is that when people are dealing with any kind of, this could be health challenges, it could be relationship challenges, it could be business, career success challenges, which are often kind of the three pillars when you think of a successful life. What's your relationship? What's your interpersonal life like? What's your health like? And what's success? What's your business like? And so the interesting part is that he was mentioning this chapter, decision. And this is ironic for me because years ago, my spouse and I were a part of a group where we talked about the unconscious mind and about beliefs and about kind of the stuff that my previous life, where I was a very science-minded child and went the medical route when I was first diagnosed until I realized it wasn't helping me, and that's when I started to notice other things. But we were a part of this group where we were given the assignment to read a chapter in the book every day for 30 days. And the chapter, hence it's like falling apart, that Amanda and I read was Decision. And when Tony Robbins brought up the conversation of the people who are successful are the people who made a decision that they're going to do what's needed to get the results that they want. And I know that looking back on my own journey, there was a point in my life where I thought I had no choice. I thought the decision was out of my hands when it came to MS, when it came to the things I was dealing with. I thought, like, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever you identify with, dealt me a crappy hand. And this was just the reality that I had to accept and I had to live with. And when I look back, I've been symptom free now for 9 years. And I initially thought that food was the reason why I am in the place I am now, was the reason I was able to get rid of all my symptoms. And food, yes, was a part of it, But Amanda reminded me a couple of years ago, this was the first reason that I was able to start moving where I wanted to go and in a different direction, was that I made a decision. I was at a point in my life, I had been taking the medication for 7 years. As I mentioned, my quality of life just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I didn't know what my other options were. I thought, "Okay, so medicine's not working for me. Maybe I'm not patienting good enough. Okay, so I'll lean into that more. I'll go to all of the appointment. I'll make sure I take everything that the doctor tells me to do. I'll do everything they tell me to do. Okay, that's not working. What else can I do?" So then I thought, okay, I'll raise money for the MS Society. And if I can raise lots of money and help support them, they'll be able to find the solution that's going to help me get out of this position that I'm in. So I did that for several years. And then one time, this is a hard thing to hear for some people, but there was one time where my best friend, I went to her and I was raising money for the MS bike ride. And I said to her, "Will you sponsor me for this bike ride? Like, I'm trying to raise money so that hopefully one day they come up with a cure." And she said to me, "Kate, I love you. I will absolutely sponsor you, but you know they're never going to come up with a cure, right?" That was like a knife in the heart. It was the hardest thing to hear in the moment, but afterwards, I am so grateful that she said that to me. Being my best friend, I think it softened the blow a little bit, even though I was angry, I was upset, I was sad. I was like, couldn't believe she had said that to me, but it was the pattern interrupt that I needed to help start looking in a different direction, to start looking at the things that I had believed and the things that I'd been gripping and holding on to so tightly as the only solution, the only way I could move forward. I had to start questioning that because it wasn't resolving things for me. I was getting sicker and sicker. And so that pattern interrupt that she gave me, and in the time, like, she didn't even know what she was doing, but she changed the trajectory of my life for the rest of my life beyond that. And that's a big part of what led me to get to the point where I have been symptom free for 9 years with a condition that medicine tells you there's nothing you can do for. All you can do is take the medication and your life is just going to continue to get worse. And I held on to that belief and that identity for a really long time. And it's the beliefs and the identities and the things that we hold on to, we prove our unconscious mind starts to create evidence for us. So when I was focusing on how crappy MS was, and I'm not saying it's an easy journey to go down, but when I was focusing on how crappy it was to be the person living with MS, crappy situations and the crappy side of MS just kept showing up for me. And so when I decided to make a decision that I was going to do whatever it took to get myself to a place of health, it involved changing a bunch of different things. And change is a very difficult thing for many people. And I can understand that, but at the same time, like, making changes to your diet is hard while continuing to live in a situation where your quality of life and your health continues to decrease. I had to choose, and I chose to go towards health. Along the way, I was talking with another person this morning about support groups and how Tony Robbins talks about this as well from the perspective of you are like, look at the people around you, and it tells you a lot about you and about how you show up. And I was, like, deeply entrenched and involved in these support groups, and I felt like these people actually understood me. They knew what it was like to live with MS, and most people didn't. I would say, "Oh my god, I'm so tired today," and a colleague at work would say, "Oh, yeah, I'm tired too. I had a late night last night," or, "We were out drinking," or and I was just like, "You don't understand. You don't understand what it's like to live with this condition." So I thought that support groups were benefiting me because all of these other people in this group understood what it was like to live with MS. I thought, they're my peeps. This is great. Until I started to realize that the collection of people there were drawn to each other and felt safe and comfortable in that situation because other people understood how much it sucked to be where they were, but no one was trying to get better. And when I started to really notice that was when I got to that rock bottom moment when the friend had said to me, like, "They're not coming up with a cure," and I had to start looking for other ways. So I found nutrition, I found shift in mindset stuff, I found hypnosis, I found alternative ways to support my body and realize what was actually going on in my system. And so I went into my support groups and I said, "I'm actually, like, feeling pretty good today." And the response was like, "Oh, amazing. That's so great. What are you on a new medication?" And when I said, "No, I actually like made some changes to my diet," I got a lot of pushback from people, and it just was not the way that they had expected this conversation to go. I actually got kicked out of every support group that I was in. And when you become the person that no longer belongs in the place, that can happen. And so that can be a scary situation if you feel like, I thought these people were my friends. I thought I finally had found this community that understood me and gets me. And now I'm being rejected from this situation. And this again ties back to the decision. Decision is important because if you decide, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to a place of health, there are going to be potentially bumps along the way. And it's the people who stick with it and continue to push through that can actually get to a better place. I've worked with hundreds of clients at this point with MS, and I have like countless stories of people who are just like, before, my biggest worry and frustration was that, like, I have wobbly legs and I'm worried, am I going to get lose my job, and am I going to be able to have a family, and what's my life going to look like in the future? And as they start leaning into and noticing what their body is trying to tell them, and start to really focus on where they want to go instead of putting in their GPS where they don't want to go, which is the MS sucks. I don't want more symptoms. I don't want more weakness. I don't want more numbness. I don't want more tingling. I don't want more brain fog. I don't want, and the list goes on. And when we put all these don't in our mind, the unconscious mind doesn't hear the negatives. It doesn't hear don't. So if I say I don't want symptoms, my unconscious mind is hearing I want symptoms. And it says, "Oh, okay, cool. Let's show her evidence of this. Here's some tingling hands. Here's some neuropathy. Here's some balance and coordination issues. Here's some," and symptoms just keep showing up. When you start focusing on things like every day I'm getting healthier and healthier, this is something that I was talking about earlier this week about the, is it towards pleasure or away from pain? And when you're focusing on getting away from pain all of the time, it's endless. Things that you don't want are just going to keep showing up for you. So it's much more beneficial to focus on going towards pleasure, going towards what do you actually want. And that was a big part of the decision that I made. Every day I'm getting healthier and healthier. Every day I'm getting healthier and healthier. And then surround yourself with people who are of a similar mind frame. I made changes to my diet. One of the first things that I did when I started to work towards getting better, I also had to make changes to my environment, my relationships, the people I was surrounding myself with. This was 2011, so social media wasn't as big of an influence as it is now, but you can easily get sucked into the drama, get sucked into the like misery loves company side of things where it's like, "Oh my god, this is the worst. This is the worst." And the feeds, the algorithms will just keep feeding you that stuff over and over again, and we don't realize like how much that impacts on a subconscious, on a physiological level when we're focusing on negatives all the time. So when it comes to the unconscious mind, I created a PDF for you if that's something that you're interested in. And the whole objective here is something that I have dozens and dozens of people on social media across a bunch of different platforms saying every day is every day I'm getting healthier and healthier. And some of the feedback, I get a lot of comments from people saying how like much their life is improving from this very simple exercise. And this is just the mind proving to you that what you focus on really does matter. It really does. And it makes a huge difference. But one of the things that I hear often is like, I want different suggestions. I want to customize this to me, which I totally understand. I throw this one out here because I know it works. So take it and use it if you want. Every day I'm getting healthier and healthier. Write it down. Read it to yourself. Say it out loud every single day and notice what shows up for you. And then send me a message because I love receiving these DMs from people. But if you would like, I've created a PDF that helps walk you through creating other ones. The challenge I find is that when I say, yeah, no, go make your own, that's really cool, is that people often will there's negative in there. And it's not intentionally, it's not that they're trying to sabotage themselves, but I wanna make sure that the sayings that you're repeating to yourself over and over again, that they're gonna help you move in the right direction. So I created like a guide for you and some journal prompts that can help you with that as well. So if that's something you're interested in, leave focus in the comments and I'll send you that. I'll send the information on how to get that. Um, but the whole point is that like your unconscious mind can be your biggest ally when it comes to getting healthier. Because if you think about it, our unconscious mind controls 90 to 95% of what we do on a daily basis. You can consciously decide what you're going to eat. Your unconscious mind is what decides if you feel safe, if you are safe in this situation. And feeling safe is a big component, in my opinion, in what I've seen with, like I said, hundreds of clients, is that children who don't feel safe in some way, shape, or form from a young age, or children who had a lot of responsibility from a young age, or the kids that felt like they had to take care of other people, or the holistic psychologist calls it the parentified daughter. So the child who was always putting everyone else's needs first, there's a deep correlation with MS in what I've seen working with all of the clients that I have and other stories that I've seen online as well. And the important part here is that this is something that you can totally take back the remote control when it comes to your life. If you're doing everything for everyone else, it's not saying that you can't still love and support and be there for other people, but it's really important to make sure that your needs are getting met as well. And so the mind creates this protective mechanism in your body that ultimately it's trying to keep you safe in some way, shape, or form. That's one of the prime directives of your unconscious mind, is to keep you safe, is to make sure that you wake up tomorrow. And so if the means that it's using to keep you safe, could that be symptoms showing up? Well, now you can't do the things you used to do. Now you have to slow down. Now you have to pause and take a break. The unconscious mind is looking to get those needs met, whether it means actually helping you move towards your goals and towards the quality of life that you want or not. And so this is where subconscious work, and this is where helping support the mind to get where it needs to go, especially to a place of feeling safe, is very helpful when it comes to moving forward and getting rid of the what's ever holding you back from the quality of life that you want. So hopefully you found this useful. I mean, anyone who hasn't, many people have experienced and seen it in their daily life where two people can go through the same situation. One person gets sick and one person doesn't. The conditions are not different. What is different? The nervous system. The nervous system response. The nervous system is not just responding to what is happening to you right now. It's a compilation of your past experiences, your childhood traumas. It's a combination of so many different things. And the unconscious mind runs our nervous system. The nervous system controls immune reactions, inflammation, digestion, energy. And so, again, while your conscious mind chooses what you eat, your unconscious mind determines whether you feel safe or not. And so this is where the one person, two people are exposed to the same stimuli, the same situation. One stays healthy and one gets sick. What's the difference? And the difference is the nervous system. MS doesn't just live in the brain and spine, it lives in the nervous system, not just the tissues. Your body remembers what your mind moved past. Your system may respond to something from the past in the present. And so you can't logic your way into safety. The unconscious mind doesn't respond to willpower. It responds to safety, emotional resolution, and retraining. And this is why nervous system work works. Mindset doesn't. And so if this is something that lands with you, if this caught your attention at all and you'd like to know more, first of all, if you want the free guide to help you set your own things to say every day and then notice what shows up for you, my one that I give away to everyone, but some people are like, oh, I want to make my own. Okay, the one I give to everyone is every day I'm getting healthier and healthier. Every day I'm getting healthier and healthier. Write that down. Say it to yourself. Okay, I do have a focus in the chat. Excellent. And say it to yourself every single day and then notice and then let me know. I love getting DMs from people where they're like, the first thing I always hear is like, it's weird. These things are showing up. And then they list the positive changes that they're noticing. The weird makes me laugh because I used to think the same, but it's really not weird because when we focus on the negative things and negative things show up, we're like, of course, I knew this was going to happen. All right. So why don't you use that for positive things instead? So, yes, if you'd like the free guide, drop a focus in the comments and I will make sure that you get that as well. And if you would like to talk more about this, I offer free conversations There's a link in my bio on most platforms, or you can send me a DM and let's set up a time to talk. I mean, I lived 7 years and struggled and hated my life going through the time where I thought MS was just a reality that I had to accept, that it was something that I just had to continue to struggle through for the rest of my life. And now that I've been symptom free for 9 years, like, my purpose on this planet is to help people realize that they are capable of so much more than they've probably ever been led to believe. And so if I can help you in any way, shape, or form, I would love to do that. Set up a call with me. I offer free screenings. Do I work with paid clients? Yes, I do. I have a membership where I show up once a week and we have conversations around mindset stuff and around what's going on with you. And then I also do one on one coaching, but the screening is free. My whole objective is to give you something that you can move away, walk away from the call with something that's going to help you start moving towards where you want to go and your goals. Whether we work together or not, I'm still here to help, and I'd be happy to share that with you. So grab the link in my bio or send me a DM and let's set up a time to talk. And otherwise, yes, drop focus in the chat as well, and I'll send you a link for this new guide that I created that can give you just so many more tools and resources and customize it for you so that you can start noticing the cool things that start to show up in your life when you start focusing where you want to go. You could go out today and you could put where you don't want to go in your GPS, which many people do when it comes to mindset. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. And then they get annoyed when the don'ts start showing up because the unconscious mind doesn't hear don't. So if I say I don't want pain, my unconscious mind hears I want pain. First of all, cancel that suggestion. I don't want that. But this guide that I created is going to help you create um, goals that actually start to show you evidence of the things that you're focusing on because you're focusing on them from the right perspective. So I will send the guide to everyone who drops focus in the chat. And if you would like to talk anymore, send me a DM or grab the link in my profile and book a free screening. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Every day, I'm getting healthier and healthier. I can't wait to hear what shows up for you, and I will talk to you soon.